Power Fantasy Series 12. It's time to recap the last 3 months of the show. Ready? I'm ready. We start. Oh, I gotta click over here. On March 19th, where GPW staged their invasion of Power Fantasy, defacing the ring as we know it. The match that was supposed to happen was Rugby Alcohol and Zverl Diehards, but GPW stormed in, and those two united to face GPW and ended up on the losing side. In match 5, the main event being the match of the Bad Time 3, Triumphant swept True Covers when Ellen sacrificed herself by grabbing Monster Energy, allowing Beat Me Sicko to get a surprise pin over Monster Energy and leading to the sweep. We also had, as you see there, the tag team title defense of Cocksure and against Urban Handler and Amazing Grace. That'll come up again later. March 26th, we had the return of Tsunamania after spending all of Season 11 on the shelf, avoiding tag team matches. Tsunamania finally came through and attacked Tom Ryder in a disturbing new form, beating him in 2 minutes, 18 seconds. We also had our only ABT Championship defense of the season, as Kade Ruby Angel beat Base Jellerin in 29-29. This would be, I think, the last time that Base Jellerin appeared as Base Jellerin. We'll get to that as well. And, of course, our main event was Bad Time 3, a 3-2 classic between the Cocksure and the Fun Boys. Trend falls back and forth. Dead Ringer and Marcos each having 2 apiece, but it came down to Orion to get the job done, and he did. April 2nd. So, that picture of Frodo McCain on the far left there. Since Bonamy and Erwin Handler went to a time limit draw with the Fun Boys, the first of 2 that they'll go through, the Athletic Commission demanded the match get restarted because there had to be a contender. There couldn't be no contender. But Super Marsha walked out, and Frodo McCain stepped in to take his place, to take her place rather, and ended up badly mangled. We also had Lisa Frank 2 ending the 295-day reign of Mistake, falling in her attempt at the 10th defense. And in main event, True Covers took 3-1 over Pinrest. April 9th. Royal Bengal made his return from India. When he beat the American Black Bear earlier in the year, he went back to India with the $500,000 winnings that came from beating the Bear. Spent that money investing in his community and, treating his family well, all that stuff. He's back to resume his quest for glory here in Power Fantasy, and did it by entering the championship raffle and beating Bad Bad Brad, who was put there assumingly by Akane to try to give her an easy championship match. We also see here Bonamy and Erwin Handler, who've been going through a runaround. They want a title shot, but Erwin got concussed by Natabot Cumswarm. And so Bonamy had to make a defense with Tom Ryder. They failed. Erwin made that defense with Amazing Grace that we saw earlier. And they failed in that. And then they finally got their shot back and got reunited. And a week after getting their shot, ended up beating Cocksure. Triumphant takes another win in the Bad Time 3 in the main event. Here we have the April 17th show as GPW scored another victory over Power Fantasy with Betsy Hubble landing that flying splash off the top rope to the back of Amazing Grace, and then another splash to win. We also had the debut of the newest member of Non-Style Circle, Mega Mellow, getting beaten handily by the American Black Bear. Tsunamania and Tom Ryder had another clash, this one laden with chairs and violence and hatred. And in our main event, True Covers went 3-2 with Cocksure, a match that would end up having tremendous effects on the outcome of this league. April 22nd, another big clash between GPW and Power Fantasy, ending when Nerve Wrecker got the surprising pin on Noah Gripe there after seeing Rugby getting speared over the top of the pinfall. And then in your main event, Triumphant. Oh yeah, let's talk about match 4 real quick. That's Royal Bengal non-style. That was supposed to be the ABT Championship bout, but Akane Ruby Angel actually filed a lawsuit against the American Bad Time Athletic Commission and refused to defend the title until the case was settled. You see, the championship raffle that Royal Bengal won, that started when the champion at the time put together the raffle and took home the proceeds. This time the raffle was done by the Athletic Commission. Akane felt entitled to the proceeds and therefore held up the whole process. And then in your main event, you have the incredible performance of the Hierophant beating all 3 members of Penrith with her finishing maneuver, Fated, the double diving knee drop. So yeah. April 29th. In match 3, you'll see that Bad Bad Brad is part of the Fun Boys International, jumping sides. After frustration all year at trying to get back into the good graces of Akane Ruby Angel, only to end up leaving the group entirely. You also see the rematch between Lisa Frank and Mystique going to a time limit draw. And in the main event, True Covers gets another 3-2 win, this time over the Fun Boys International. That would put them in a position where they could go to the finals depending on the results of the next Bad Time 3 match. And on May 7th, that result came through in the way they needed it when Penrith beat Cocksure 3-1. Cocksure needed 2 falls to move on. They could have lost the match at that point, but they only scored 1, and that was the end of Cocksure's challenge for the Bad Time 3 tournament. Now, the first match, there's no GPW interference as Dallas took on Amazing Grace. Dallas beat Grace free and clear. But that was because, allegedly, the rest of Team GPW was beating up Killing You Guy in an attempt to buy Mons Soleiman's favor. We'd later learn this attempt completely failed, leading to Mons Soleiman at Dallas 2 weeks from this show. Also, you'll see match 4, the finish is listed as The Cranberries. That is the name of Beat Me Sicko's pop-up low blow. That 15-minute exhibition match is a curious match in hindsight. We'll get to that in just a second. But first, let's take a look at the full listings of the results of the Bad Time 3. Yep, this is the first 6 shows. I'm going to leave it on the screen a little bit. We're not going to cover all these matches, but if you want to see the whole Bad Time 3 at a glance, here's the first half. And now, here is the second half. 10 weeks of league action, ending with our final teams, Triumphant and True Covers. True Covers getting by through good fortune, but also the good fortune of having the scoring leader, the solo scoring leader of Monster NRG. I mean, both scoring leaders were in the finals, actually, between Monster Energy and the Hierophant. Pretty impressive performance by the both of them. But before we got there, we were going to have Three Dork Night, our annual tradition of the Dork Tournament. This tournament was actually sponsored by Animates, the production company, as well as Goliath's House, the production home of Goliath Lynch, famed director. We'll get to him in just a second. But the story of Dork Night 3 was about 4 wrestlers. It was about Snooker and Pyramide of Los Biares, and Luxury and the Masked Ass Kicker, the other finalists, who took this annual tradition, this funny tournament that we do, and went to the main event and had an absolute classic. I don't know if I've ever seen a more definitive star-making performance on one night than those 4 turned in. But they established pretty quickly that they are ready to be the future of Power Fantasy. And the future looks pretty bright if it's got talent like that. But now we return to the present, and we return to the Bad Time 3 finals. Here you see the split ring, and you see Ultim Ashley, the star of Goliath Lynch's new superhero project. We've heard a lot of things about what it could be. It might be a mini-series. It might be a cartoon. I don't know. The point is that when he saw Mashley, he realized that was the star and redesigned the entire show around her. It was a big night. A lot of interesting matches, a lot of impressive moments. We had the ABT Team Championship match setting the record for the longest title defense in Power Fantasy. But really, what we were all there to see was the main event, and it didn't disappoint. Now you'll see, as Triumphant took the 3-2 win, Ellen Ellis being eliminated first after the low blow, you have to wonder, in hindsight, or I wonder, rather, if maybe that 15-minute match between Ellen and Sicko that was supposed to be a team-building thing, where Ellen ended up losing, maybe that undid some of Ellen's confidence going into this match. It's a possibility. From what we understood, that 15-minute match was suggested by Judgment, the manager of the Hierophant, and it ended up with Ellen. I don't know. You have that match. You have Ellen taking the loss due to a low blow. I would mess with me, and I would wonder if that messed with Ellen. But she's certainly not making any excuses. She didn't say anything about it other than she was happy for her teammates for winning, and bittersweet, I imagine. Less bittersweet is the kick that you see Nanobot catching. That is the end result of the cranberries right there. And true to form, the two scoring juggernauts of Power Fantasy, it came down to them as the final two members. The tournament was going to go through the scoring champion, and it did. With a tombstone on a chair, the Hierophant sealed the deal and won the Bad Time 3. As a result, the Triumphant will receive title shots over the next month. The Hierophant will challenge for the ABT Championship. Ellen Ellis will be teaming with Royal Bengal to challenge for the Team Championship. And Beat Me Sicko will challenge for the Light Championship. Those will all be interesting matches, but that's the future, and we're still in the present. And what's going to happen presently is the MVPF number 12 voting. Voting opens today, May 22nd, and closes May 28th. The results will post a day after the next episode. Here you see the eligible wrestlers. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being a fan? I don't know. Thanks for watching Power Fantasy, and thanks for voting if you vote. And we hope to see you Sunday night for even more great matches.